is EBS TV Reloaded.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a live show, and thank you for joining us on this program, Daybreak, Tuesday's edition, reaching you live from a dual broadcasting service. As usual, every Tuesday we have different segments to keep you glued to your television set. My name is Josephine Eimihe, and Peggy is with us this morning. Peggy, good morning.
Good morning. Firas, good morning. My name is Peggy Bukwari, and as you rightly said, we have different segments on this show. One of it is the religious segment. We have the looking around what is happening around the world as a whole.
All right.
This morning.
The family segment, we start this program this morning, but we are out of time. We have other segments to keep you, as usual, informed, educated, and enlightened. Let's start with the papers this morning. Let's see what the papers are saying this morning. On the Vanguard newspaper, JAMB scraps mop up UTME, insists on no biometrics, no examinations. 2023 remain focused, finish strong, above people, tell Ugwang. Nigeria still an investment destination. This is attributed to experts. Job losses, withdrawals from pension savings rise 17% to 6.6 billion naira. Aviation crisis, domestic flight movement dips 215% in Q1 22. I don't know what that is all about, but if you want to know, you get your Vanguard newspaper. The parties and their strength. Queen Elizabeth and need for relevance of Nigerian institutions. Need for Nigeria's education system to adopt technology. Fighting ASU for the soul of public universities. Umba attack, 2 policemen, 3 civilians killed, 2 receiving treatment. This is according to the police. Impeachment, penalty for failure and incompetence. I believe that is in the editorials. 2023 APC Women Group mobilizes 10.68 million votes for Tinubu and Shetima. Abia 2023 consensus governor candidate tears Ipiazu's kinsmen apart. Insecurity, the worst, far over. And moving on, federal government frustrating access to funds to clear backlog of salaries pensions. This is attributed to Daybreak government. Okay. Let's see what the Punch is saying this morning. All right, on the Punch this morning, boundary disputes worsen insecurity, 676 killed in states. Akeredolu apologizes to clerics over Muslim ticket. Ekwere Madu detained 82 days, daughter seeks kidney donor. That's a very sad one there. Passport issuance rises by 38%. More Nigerians relocate. Police suffered heavy losses to NSAS. This is attributed to police PRO. Review controversial pipeline protection contract. Gridlock traps Lagos Ibadan motorists, passengers for 16 hours. I just wonder what they were doing in that 16 hours. It's terrible. Lagos flooding rescuers recover 2 corpses, save 9. Lagos suspects arraigned for vandalism, stealing car parts. NSCDC arrests 8 suspects in Lagos, Akwa Ibom. Task force keys 9 terrorists, arrests 5 in Castina. That's the much we can take on the newspaper review. We are going for the news. But before we go for the news, let me give you a peep on what we'll be discussing this morning. We've been looking at the family, talking about infidelity, a lot of issues. But this morning we'll be focusing on our young people, the singles, the eligible for marriage, what you should be looking at for when wife session. What are those things you should look at? I believe the looking can be relative, but they are basics. So what are the ingredients, the most important thing to look at for when you're looking for your spouse? So just don't go away, because the marriage counselors, they are ready to talk with you after the morning news. Please stay. All right, thank you for staying connected. It's Daybreak Tuesday's edition, and we're on the family segment. Before we went for the morning news, I said we'll be dealing on the singles in the house, those of us still trusting God for a good partner, not just a partner, but a good and right one. Is there a really right one? All right, we have the marriage counselors with us who will be talking to us. These people, they are married and they've seen things, and so they can talk to you. So just listen. What are those basic things that you should look at for wife session? This is our topic this morning, and we have Pastor Ehis Johnson in the house. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, viewers. I celebrate you.
Pastor Richard Spain is with us this morning, aka Mother Love wanting to. Madam, you're welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
And she's looking wanting to this morning.
Thank you.
Wow. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So looking at things to watch out for while you are session as a young or young girl or young boy or matured single, just tell us, first of all, the basic. What are those things one should look at for?
I like that word you use, the basic, because when you have things you're looking out for, there are things that are just for the moment, but they are equally things you know will follow you to the future you hope for. So those things that will follow you to that future you hope for are the things we want to talk about in this program. When I'm going up with a guy or with a girl, I tend who is my platonic friend. I always tell younger ones that relationships start from that stage, being platonic friends, just casual friends, and then from that moment you start to watch out for those things you as a person desire to have in the partner you want to settle down with in marriage. Unfortunately, many people get carried away. You don't get carried away in those times where you are with this person, you are suddenly in love with, it's just a casual love, and it's growing because love grows. And some people don't believe love grows. So the things to look out for, number one, does this person have regard for you as a person? Because it starts from you. If the person does not see you as, like a girl I always talk about when I have opportunity to talk about things like this, who told me some time ago that a marriage counselor, I'm in a relationship with this guy where I love him, but I notice each time we are together, he is always about himself. If he's not asking me, did you take note of the research I'm putting on? It came from that side. Another day we are meeting, it's like, did you even look at my legs? The shoe, this is Mokaka, those names you call, And the girl said, there's never a day they talk about her. They are always talking about him. And I told her, it's a danger sign. Because for crying out loud, if we are together and two of us have a mission, and we are always on you, then there's a problem. So does it have value for you as a person? Number two, people give birth to you. If you don't have father, I'm sure you have mother. You have both of them. Does it have value for them? He may not have met with this person, but when you get talking about them, does it like, oh, your mom, oh, your dad, does he have it? Or does she have it? And when the first time you're going to meet with these people, that's casual, because our parents hold a very vital part of our life. If somebody's in love, you are in love with somebody's son, you're in love with somebody's daughter, and you don't have regard for the people that brought this person to this earth, then there's a huge problem. I know that I'm not here alone. Let me just hold it there.
All right. Thank you so much for that. You said the person should have regards
for the parents,
other person,
yes,
and the parents.
Yes,
it's both
value.
ways. The guy should have and the girl should have also. Pastor Ehis, There's this saying that if you want to check on somebody, you have to see the way the guy treats or the lady treats other people that he or she don't have, like you don't have anything to benefit from them. For instance, how do this your spouse, for instance, treat a sales girl or the security or treat other people? Because the way he treats them, that's what the eye is going to treat you. Do you agree with that?
To a very large extent, I concur with it because it's about character. How you treat people, how people treat you is about character. And there's a popular saying that character is a smoke. You cannot hide it for long. Now, you cannot, just like she said, if you cannot give regard, and the question you're asking is about the same about regard. If you don't treat people nicely, no matter who they are around you, whether above you, on your level, or beneath you, you will consciously or unconsciously transfer that same treatment to them. Now, when you have such people around you, you have to be very careful and mindful the way you relate with them. Yeah, you have to be very careful how you relate with them. And if I'm permitted to switch to the original question now,
Please go ahead.
It is relative. And there's different things to look at when you want to choose a life partner. There's so many things to look at. You know, naturally, or most times we would say, I want a God-fearing man, I want a God-fearing man, I want a beautiful, sexy, curve-shaped, dark, tall, and handsome. For me, those are trivial things. The basic thing is...
For you?
Yes,
for
for
that
me.
It's a big day.
Yes, I'll tell you why. Because, just like she said with, those are the things for the now. What about the future? Your marriage is not about today. It's not about how we do the celebration now. It's about the future. What happened when that guy that is tall, dark, and handsome is now crippled? What happened to that lady that is so beautiful and curve-shaped and because of sickness she now becomes eye? So I think for me the first thing I look out for is character. Character is something that cannot be changed. Character is one thing that is constant and can only be developed, improved on it. I look at character. I also look at what's the person's vision, dreams, aspirations. Just like you said, some persons it's all about them. Me, myself, and I. How do you treat people? What are your plans for your spouse, your wife, your children? How are you talking about them? I should hear something about your future, not about now. How I have a function, I have a party, I have to do business now. What about the future? Then above all, for me, above all is, the Bible says, light and darkness cannot dwell together. So what does the person believe? What's the person believe? Does the person love God, not know God? Does the person know and loving God? Everybody knows God, but not everybody loves God. If they don't love God to the point where God is the order of their life, trust me, when you're in marriage, you have a constant recurrent, continuous deficiency problem in your home when God is not the center of your life. So, above all else, God must be loved in the person's life. You must see this person loving God, and other things can work. Because when you love God, it will naturally, just like the first question, it will naturally transcend to every other person. You will love people around you, you will love things. You'll be mindful of your words. You will not be saucy, you will not be harsh on words. You treat the woman nicely. You treat the man. You respect the guy.
And you forgive easily.
Yes,
also.
you forgive. Because love is love. Loving God covers every other thing. It makes you whole. It makes you whole. Because when you don't love God, there are some fractions from you. You are scattered. But loving God makes you complete and whole. So for me, the primary is number one. God should be the center and the focus of that person's life that will govern relationship and marriage.
All right, thank you. Just joining us on the studio is Pastor Ifeanyi. You're welcome, sir.
Good morning, viewers.
All right.
God bless you.
Let's continue. Let me come to Pastor Richard's pen. Most of these young people, they are very smart. They read a lot. Some of them, they are listening to us, and they have this intention to settle with this particular girl or guy. And they know that, character matters, the way you treat people. And some of them, they had the script for you. They'll just add it and pretend because I want to settle down with this person. So they show the care, they treat people nicely, but that's not who they are. and maybe after the ceremony they show themselves. So how do you deal with people when you're in a relationship and they pretend you don't really know this person?
That's why the point Pastor His made a while ago, the God factor in the life of these people, it cannot be overemphasized. Unfortunately, many people go into relationship and they're like, no, put God aside, please. I don't want God in this, because that God, oh no, when he comes in, God is a suspect in this relationship. Listen, it's about me and you. It's we know what we want. We will. Let's just go on. Hey. You see, when you put God aside, later on, you now come to like, wow, if I had known, the God factor would have been everything. Because listen, when you have the God factor, okay, let me talk about myself. When I was a young girl, there was this guy, we were both in the singing choir. He was our keyboardist. And I was like, hey, he was beginning to love me, and I was beginning to love him. And I was like, hey, God, please take control. Because I was coming from a family where we had marital issues. Marital issue was really a big deal. So, and I was like, God, please take control. You need to reveal this person to me. Is it the kind of person I can put up with? Before I got married, I had relationships that God saved me from. It took God for me to know them, because looking at somebody physically, talking about this pretense thing, you can't know people from the surface. You need to dig into them, and that can be when you have the God factor. Because if you don't have relationship with God, how will God be able to open your eyes to see to the future of this person, to see if two of you can be compatible? We can be two lover birds, but listen, I've seen people who were two lover birds, but in marriage, the other one was not threatening to take her life in marriage. So you see, that God factor will help you to know if this person is really pretending or not. So this person, God opened my eyes. I was able to see that he's not the one. Another one I was equally in love with in Lagos, God opened my eyes. I was able to equally see that no, if I marry this person, I will equally end up leaving my marriage untimely. It took God for me to scale through those guys. And eventually I married the man I was able to stay with in marriage. So that God factor will help you know and pin that pretense thing, so you don't fall a victim. Now, when we talk about pretense, I know that I want you to get it clear. In relationship, when two people are in relationship, there's always a stage where we do what me I call plasma. You know, that plasma thing. I don't want him to know everything about me. I mean, you kind of, it's allowed. But when we talk about the main, you are somebody who was married before. You pretend as if you are a virgin. I mean, this person was married before, but he's pretending to be a virgin to this guy. Or you have multiplied wives, and then you are telling this girl you have never been married before. Or you have very bad anger problem. But each time you are with her, you are always smiling, petting her. And until after marriage, when your real person, lion came out of you, you're like, wow. She started looking and looking for how to take cover. All those are the things you're talking about.
All right, thank you. That is people that are searching. These are most of the things you will look at for Pastor Ifeanyi there. A lot of young men, I know women pretend also, but most of these young men, they have this desire to like please the girl, buy her things, take her to the mall, take her to fast food joint. They always do this. Some of them don't even have that money at that time. They just want to please the girl because they want to get something from that girl. You are a man and you've been married for some time. What is your advice to such men that want to put things forward in order to get the girl's love or attention?
I think putting material things like comfort and all that before looking inward in the areas of character, or try to checkmate the person you are about getting married to me, that is a total. It's a kind of a disaster that has already arranged itself to happen. First, like what Pastor Roseman was saying, you must first try and discover your own self first. When you discover whom you are, it is easy to know the kind of person you can get connected to. Like I do say, when some persons who are in relationship, they go to ice cream joint, the only thing they talk about is, I love your nose, I love your eyes, all those stuff. They don't go get deep into the real thing.
Your coughs, they're
Yeah,
getting me
understand.
crazy.
Yes, they don't get deep into the real thing. They are just relating like oil on top of water. And these whole things at the end of the day is the reason why we have a lot of multiple issues in marriages today. So my take care is that as a young man out there, my advice is that stop, if you are, I will even say, if a man decide to marry today, one of the first things you have to start looking into as an individual is just a person that can be able to help you fulfill your dream. A helpmeet, not just somebody you want to have pleasure with. But there'll be a time that pleasure, I don't want to mention that, there's a time where that pleasure, you will not even want to have it the way you are attracted to have it. So what now happen after that? It is whom you marry that make you to stay long, or the marriage may end up collapse. So first, you first look and walk and look into the real thing than jumping into the plasma part of it, as Pastor Rosemary just stated. That is my take.
All right, so we've spoken about the guys, but I will not be fair if I leave the ladies on this aspect. Pastor Rich Rosemary, you will talk to our ladies. A lot of us want to get settled. We are ready. There is this song, carry me they go, Jehovah carry me they go, my husband has. So in the process of taking them to their husband's house, they can do anything, both spiritual and both physical. All they want, I just want to be a Mrs. or a madam for the meantime, or I just want to have my kids legitimately. After that, I will throw in the towel and move on. A lot of ladies are thinking about that because of previous disappointment. They've been disappointed, and then they just want to like, okay, if A can get married, I will get married also. So can you talk to our ladies that have such thoughts that marriage is not big deal, it's just party?
Let me quickly say this is a very big question, and I wish I have time to exhaust it. The fact that marriages are failing, first of all, tell yourself my own will work. Don't program yourself to end up being a baby mama or a baby papa. Because if you program yourself that way, you are going to certainly end up being a baby mama or a baby papa. And listen, as a baby mama or a baby papa, I will tell you that children that are raised by both parents are better off than children that are raised by just single parents. Even if that woman have all it takes to make sure he put every moral into her kids. Let me tell you, let's look at it squarely. A woman that is a baby mama, for example, a baby papa, you can't be a man and a woman at the same time to your children. That's number one. Number two, you are looking for how to make ends meet for these children. So your availability is going to be minimal. And so there's going to be that vacuum in the heart of your children. It will take God for those children to scale through and become whom they are supposed to be. So I want to beg you, tell yourself, I am going to marry. I'm going to stay with my husband, with my wife. That's number one. Number two, my heart go for ladies or guys who are actually, they've been delayed maritally. And they are just like, oh, let me just choose anyone. You don't have to choose anyone. You have waited, and then just make sure you wait till the end and marry honorably. Don't choose anyone. And then also, in not choosing anyone, tell yourself, I'm going to marry honorably. Don't marry anyone. Don't say, well, I have delayed. Let me just have children and get out. No. You have delayed, and my earnest prayer for you is that you're going to end up marrying and you have your kids. And finally, before I leave this apart, singlehood is not a disease and it's not a curse. Because I know many people want to give you attitude and you are still there, you are not married, look at your mate have gone. Everybody have their time. There are people who married very early and they didn't stay that married to the end. There are now people who equally married very late, but their marriage was so honorable and beautiful at the end of the day. So, like the Englishman will say, he who laughs last, laughs best. So please take your time and marry honorably so that at the end you have peace and you have your kids.
All right, thank you. Before we go on this segment, Pastor is a lot of, we're talking about pretense, how do you sports, and we said the God factor plays a major role. But some persons, they don't have this relationship with God one-on-one. but they are humans. Maybe
Yeah.
they will get to that level someday. But this particular person still want to get settled with somebody. How can you spot at somebody that is these wannabes, let me use the word, or a pretender?
Like we said earlier, like I said earlier, character is a smoke. Now, the only way you can spot somebody who, when you don't have this relationship with God, one of the easiest ways, you must have trained yourself. Now, if you don't love yourself, nobody will love you. It's when you treat yourself, people will treat you. Now, when those treatments you give to yourself personally are not coming, you start seeing red flags. Okay, let me use the right word. The red flag signs are what a lot of persons try to shy away from a relationship and marriage or relationship. They see the signs that this guy is not always available when I call him on phone. He's always too busy. I hear you don't like that kind of life. Don't pretend because he loans out money to you, he gives you, he buys the world for you. That is a red flag. When you get married, this guy can be out in the house for the next 1 week, 2 months, without you know he's worrying about. So be conscious of red flags. The person you're trying to see if you can end up with, check his character. Those characters are what will make you know if the person is playing fast on you. Check his friend cycle. The character, the friend cycle. Now, there's also a saying that the best of safe friends are flocks together. The only way you can know when you're not with God is if you can try and spot out this. There's a lot of things to check out for. What are his words? Listen to his words. Listen to where he's saying those words. Is he always repeating, I love you, I love you, I love you? Okay, I love you. When you are angry, what does he say? How does he treat you when you're angry? When he makes mistakes, how does he treat you? What does he say? How does he react? Or when you're not in the mood to talk, sometimes you have this mood swing. You're not in the mood to, how does he treat you? Those are things that you can see and know if this person, a guy or a lady, is having this deceit character. Don't pretend about it. Character, if it's not well managed, if it's not in place, it will be a serious disaster in future. Character is what takes you to the pinnacle, and character deficiency is what brings you to the pit.
All right, thank you for that. Before we go past Ifeanyi there, most young people will say, without money, I cannot marry. My daddy and my mommy suffered so much. I don't want to go the same route with my parents. So if the guy is not having money, count me out. They always put money forward. And without money, whether the guy is like licking their feet, they'll say, to hell with you. So what do you have to say on that?
To me, I think money is not just the first thing there. The first thing you have to discover the person you are into, the young man. Does he really have future plan? Does he really have a kind of a vision? And how is his vision like? At the course of discussion, this time when people go out for eateries and all of that, you get to know. During the course of discussion, it will fall in here and all of that. You get to know who you are talking with. You see some persons here, they keep on tying their plans to their brother abroad. My brother abroad, my sister abroad, this one abroad, said this and all of that. So they like you and all of that. They build their life around family. They don't have any tangible thing, meaningful thing that they are doing. No structure. They don't have structure for their life. No plan, no nothing. The moment you see somebody under nature that has structure, he has a plan, he has a vision, and the person is an hustler, he believes in himself, and you are seeing that if you get into the life of this person, that something good can come out. Go for such a person. He may not have a car, he may not have money, he may be living in one room. Even one room that maybe only foam on the ground and maybe stove one corner there, but on daily basis, he's a go-getter. There is no room to begin to look out for that. As far as you believe in him, you see something in that person, just move. A lot of ladies today, there is somebody as I speak to you right now that married somebody. I think the guy was having 2 cars and all of that, living with the influence of the family members abroad and all of that. Well, each of them now came for what they gave to him to manage. He couldn't account for it. 3 children are already on ground. As I speak to you right now, the guy is driving bus handover. You understand? And the lady has moved on. As I speak to her now, she's already outside the country.
Wow.
The child is with her mother. So
there was no love. There was just...
Yeah, and most time when people blind they say, using this word, I love you, I love you, I love you. Suspend that love matter, looking one. Just keep that love somewhere, looking one. Try to find out whom this person really is. Check out. And then in the area of the woman's side, check whether it's such a person that when it comes into your life, you're able to help you to manage your estate.
All right.
Thank you.
I don't know if we've been able to like exhaust this, but we don't know what next week will look like, but I believe we can continue on this trend because we want marriages to work. The era of people getting married after 6 months, they are back to their normal status. We don't want it. Family is everything. And when you have a good home, you have somebody that have your back. You are the luckiest person on it. That's the much we can take on the family segment. Once again, thank you, Pastor Ehis Johnson, for your thoughts this morning on this program.
Thank you very much. Thank you, viewers.
Okay, Pastor Rosie Maswe, aka Mother Love, Iwan Titi, thank you for your thought this morning.
Thank you.
I just have to put that in.
I love the name so much.
All right. Reverend Ifayode, thank you for your thoughts this morning.
All right,
Daybreak continues in a moment. Please stay.